Hey everybody, Fabian for Liberty. Check out FabianForLiberty.com, especially tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, as we will be streaming live the Fabian for Liberty program. Actually, you click on the Listen Live link and it'll take you to AmericanFreedomRadio.com. We'll be covering tonight the continuing unfolding economic collapse that's taking place in the West, and just more and more confirmation every single day that comes out. The first one is the pensions. The $1.2 trillion pension gap that was discovered after a new study, which I always find this very, very funny. This is from Reuters. The 100 largest public pension funds have around 1.2 trillion of unfunded liabilities, about 300 billion above the nearly 900 billion they reported themselves. So, I mean, I could have told you this myself, right? But they need to commission some study, right? So if the government's looking to commission more studies, just pay me the money, because I've been talking about this for at least the 2 years that I've been posting videos, that these pension funds are all broke. Places like California, Illinois, New York, New Jersey, they're selling more and more bonds just to finance these pensions, and then they take the money. And these pensions many times have to literally gamble the money to get a 10% return, which is what they need in order to just keep up with these losses and with the amount of money that they continue to have to pay out. It is a total Ponzi scheme. Eventually, these countries will need to go for a federal bailout. And then what will happen? I mean, basically, it's what you've seen unfold in Europe with all the pension funds and everything else that have gone broke. You know, they go to their country goes to the IMF, but, you know, when the city goes bankrupt, they go to the state. When the state goes bankrupt, they go to the federal government. When the federal government goes bankrupt, what happens then? Well, they go to the European Union, but where would America go to? I mean, will we then go to some new collective union that, or some global governance that will then administer the money to pay off these bankrupted pensions and these bankrupted states and cities? An important thing to also follow that kind of talks about this global governance and where they'll get the money. Well, not only have they talked about the Al Gore climate change carbon tax credit, but also they're talking about a global cigarette tax now, and they're also talking about an internet tax that's gaining momentum in the UN. Make no mistake, this is all pooling resources in order to begin funding this new wave of bankruptcies that are sweeping not just the West, sweeping the world, quite frankly, but particularly the West. Now, in the spirit of past empires that have failed, you know, people in America, and I get these calls all the time that call into the radio program, but the comments as well, that say, I can't wake up my friends and family. Well, you know, if you think of the Soviet Union, the Roman Empire, the Ottoman Empire, the French, Western civilization, the Habsburg Empire, I mean, all of them. Here's what they all had in common. Unsustainable finances, currency debasement, which both of those are going on to a huge extent here in America, expansion of the state, overregulation, military overextension, and an erosion of freedom. All of these points are happening in America. I'm going to touch on all of these. Debasement of the currency. Ben Bernanke says it's great for the economy. Michelle Obama, we're in a huge recovery, is just getting started. We don't want to vote Obama out. Like, either one of them will make any difference. They're both a total disaster. I mean Romney, Obama. Military overextension. I mean the Soviet Union, military overextension in Afghanistan, the Roman Empire, Western civilization. All of these countries face this. Now, is America any different? Because all these things lead to social unrest, they lead to resource shortages, they lead to police state tactics, default, currency collapse, banking and financial crises. That's what it leads to. And again, are we to think that America is any different? Because we're going down the same road that all these other empires have gone through. And we're going to face the same exact repercussions. We're no different. The laws of monetary policy do not work differently in America than they have worked for the last 5,000 years, other than the fact that America, being the world reserve currency, has been able to buy some time on its ability to print more money. But ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake, that can only take us so long, and we continue to get more and more news. You know, the last thing to point out is that when these things begin to happen, they happen extremely quickly. You know, I see gold and silver prices going down a little bit. Silver back down to like $32.50, gold down to $17.30. And the Dow Jones going up, I think, 95 points today or something. People are thinking it's a great celebration. Things right now are happening in a... there's so much just artificial manipulation taking place. It's like I've never seen in my lifetime. I've followed this for about 10 years. But people that have been around much longer than I tell me they've never... In fact, every major business person that I speak to, every major economist that I speak to, every single person says they've never witnessed this in America ever before. They've seen it in other countries, Argentina. But look, Argentina, back in 2001, towards the end of 2001, they were thinking, you know, things are fine. There's really no problem yet. I mean, the tequila crisis in Mexico, you had the day before the devaluation of the peso, you basically had politicians saying, we'll never devalue our currency. I mean, that's crazy talk. We're totally fine. But both of those countries, in literally a month, in the case of the tequila crisis in Mexico, it happened the next day. But both of those countries very quickly went down that slippery slope that we will inevitably go down. Again, it doesn't matter who's in office. All this is mathematics. It's mathematics. And then the last thing I want to point out, I mean, and we're going to talk about this all weekend, although I talked about this a week and a half ago, I think I was breaking this down, talking about what a 2000 election style, like, you know, you had at Gore Bush, what that looks like in America today when you have all these people saying, we're going to riot. I mean, if Obama loses, we're going to riot. I mean, you have a shot going through an Obama campaign office. You have manure being dumped in front of an Obama office. Romney had a bullet shot through his campaign office as well, one of his campaign offices. People are pissed. And it only takes a little spark to spread the wildfire of social unrest. And that is something that isn't just centered around elections, but it's centered around failing economies as well. Check out FabianForLiberty.com. Join me tonight, 8 p.m., only on American Freedom Radio, the Fabian for Liberty program. Thanks for watching. Also, welcome to all my new subscribers as well. Had about 300 or 400 of you from over the weekend. Glad you're on board. Hope you find this channel informative. I'm Fabian for Liberty. I'm out.